Hey, namaste, guys. I wanted to just touch base with you guys here real quick about some different subjects and things that have been going through my mind as I've been doing more research online myself. And I always encourage you guys to do the same on relationships and self esteem and narcissistic behavior, empath behavior, and codependency. I'm Sean Sherpa, and I've decided that going forward, I really want to make a commitment to becoming a life coach. I'm finding now that I'm sharing more of these videos from my experiences that I've had over the past, oh gosh, since 2016, so a few years now. And even since my first divorce, which was kind of started up in 2010, and that marriage ended through 2011, and started my second marriage in 2012, not doing any of the work that you should do after a divorce, and jumping right into a relationship and going into another relationship and finding that I attach myself to emotionally unavailable people who seem like they're emotionally available, but really they aren't. And these are people who are good people. Everybody is a good person, guys. Despite what they might do to you, even if they're a narcissist or even if they're cluster B or borderline personality disorder, deep down, everybody deserves love and they deserve compassion. People, they're suffering, and they handle it in different ways, and hurt people hurt people. And we hear that saying all the time, but I think a lot of us, though, we try to fill these holes by going into relationships or going to substances or different activities that fulfill us, only to just put a band-aid on a situation versus actually doing the work that really we all need to be doing and reflecting in the self-love and I think nurturing that we need to give ourselves. So, on that point, I want to discuss a couple things. I find that that I attach myself a lot of times to people who are, I guess, not willing to reciprocate what I want to give, and I give a lot. I love a lot. I love very hard, and to an extent that it's overwhelming. I think to any person probably. And there are people out there like that. And if you identify with me and you're like, hey, that's me, Sean. I do that all the time. I find this certain man and I love him and I shower him with gifts, attention, affection, anything that I could possibly think of, but I'm just not getting reciprocated that love that I want so badly. And guess what, girl? The reason you're doing that is because you want it so badly. I was talking to a very good friend of mine, actually my roommate, and we were talking about how I gas people up, man. I fill you guys up all the time, and every person. And I think deep down too, I want to be encouraged also, and I get that from time to time, and it's great on social media and things like that. But really, I don't think that that's really what needs to be happening. I don't need to be gassed up. I need to fulfill myself, as do you. And so, guys and gals, guys are out there too. There's a lot less of you guys out there, or at least those who are willing to admit it. Who are men, but there are men out there that are just like me. There's more women that are more like me in the sense that we look for love. We look for someone to shower that attention to fulfill. And so many women out there that are like, I just want to find my man. I want to love him. I want to be there for him, and I just want to make him feel the love and be obsessed with me and like I am with him. And oh, wouldn't it be great? But that shit's all fairy tales, guys. We are brainwashed by society and films on so many different levels. It's ridiculous how much we're lied to and given this set confines of rules, this like some sort of formula that we're supposed to stick to, and it's all bullshit. It is, guys. Relationships aren't perfect. Nobody fucking lives happily ever after. And even if they do, guess what? It takes a lot of fucking work. So, nobody says like, oh, Sleeping Beauty met her prince, and then they continue to go to marriage therapy for the next 50 years to make it work and compromise and go through hard shit, but loved each other relentlessly and worked their asses off to get it done. No, then when he fucking says that, it's just like boy meets girl meets girl, boy meets boy, kiss and love, and everything's great, and it's just gonna work out. No, it's not going to work like that. If you want a relationship to work, you gotta work on yourself. You gotta fucking bust your ass to make sure you're the best version of yourself so you can be the best version of yourself to be the best version for your partner. And if you're not, it's not gonna work. Both of you, both sides. And I feel that everybody should see a therapist or a life coach or all of the above. And I think that needs to happen. So, what I'm saying to you guys is through my own trial and errors and my mistakes, and I still make a shit ton. I mean, I was talking to my son's mother and I lashed out in a total immature way, and I couldn't believe it. And it was just old injuries that I'd had from her and her mom of stuff that they probably didn't mean to do it, but I never felt like it was good enough. When I was in that marriage, anytime I did something wrong, I beat myself up over it. And it's because I had a mother who was very much, didn't love me unconditionally, but only loved me by condition. And that's how I felt like I was being loved in that marriage, and by my mother-in-law and by my ex-wife, which wasn't the case. They're wonderful and loving people, but I put that on them because of my own shit. And how unfair, right? And how unfair to me lash out years later on a fucking argument about something about, it wasn't even involving that, but it was about my son, our son. And so I looked back and I was like, God, still a lot of work needs to happen, and that's why we go to therapy. That's why we work on ourselves. And I happy, healthy relationship right now? No, and am I in a relationship right now? No, I'm not. And do I want to be? Of course, I'm codependent. Of course, doesn't every codependent want to be in a relationship? But don't a lot of people want to be in a relationship? So be honest with yourself and work on yourself and love yourself. And once you start to do that, the right people tend to show up in your life. I think so many of you out there, and myself included, men and women, people are thinking to themselves, there's just no good guys out there. No, it's just that you're allowing the bad people in your life, and you are the one who's deciding that, to let them manipulate you, to let them take advantage of you. So think on that, guys. Really think on that, and realize that you are definitely good enough, and you're worth it. But people aren't always going to love you back the way you love them. Somebody will. That's the thing is, and you have to set that standard. But if you're showering somebody with love, attention, gifts, affection, doing all these different things, and they're just kind of like, meh, then, do you think you have the right person? Do you think that you're going to win them over? Don't get me wrong. I love a challenge as much as anybody else, and which is why I attach myself to people like that. But is that what you deserve? And I think so many times our minds will make up 90% of what this person is, and we don't really even know who they are, but yet we're just completely investing in that because it's like that whole love at first sight thing, You'll be like, oh, this guy, look at his biceps, his tattoos, his freaking beard, and oh my God, he's amazing, and he's a little bit of a bad boy, and I kind of like that, but it's like, safe is boring, right? We see that, and I see it myself too. It's like I'll meet these very emotionally stable women who got their shit together, and I'll be like, they're all right, and they're cute and everything too, but then all of a sudden along comes somebody who's fucking crazy like my ex, and it's like they're wicked hot and they got all these issues, and you're like, there's the project. Ooh, they're exciting, and of course they're awesome in bed or whatever, but really, do you want to be with somebody safe, that's stable and all good? No, it's boring. Or do you want to be with the asshole who's got the dick and he's putting it to you, or the girl who's got the amazing sex in bed with you and you're just like, fuck yeah, she's amazing? There's somebody in the middle that is in between those two. And you have to tell yourself, does that person exist? Absolutely they do. But how do you get them? How do you find them? By working on yourself and setting your standards, setting boundaries, and realizing exactly what it is that you want. And when you meet that asshole and you realize he's being an asshole, and you meet that good guy and you realize it's just too much of a good guy or good girl, then where's that median? And we all want that exciting person, but it's about finding that happy median point. And you have to ask yourself, if I'm on a date and I meet this guy and he's kind of teasing me a little bit, he's a little cocky, got to get self-esteem, kind of being a dick, but he's flirting with me in a good way and he has good intentions, maybe compliments me a couple times too. Well, that's great and all, but if he fucking does that every day, that'll get old because that's replaceable. You can find those people all the fucking time. That's great. But what you can do on the flip side of things is say, okay, but what if this guy, after he does this, says, I know you're a little drunk. Let me call you an Uber. I want to make sure you get home safe. And he walks out to your car and he kisses you gently on the forehead. He says, I had a wonderful night. It was the best night ever. And I would love to see you again and get to know you really more because I think you're a beautiful soul and I think you're amazing. But, I really don't know you yet and I want to, but you seem incredible. All of a sudden you're thinking, holy shit, I found this amazing guy. And likewise, you guys, if you found a girl like that too, you'd be like, fuck yeah, right? But it's about finding that unicorn. It's about finding that person that's like that. And they exist. but only when you're working on yourself and you're your best version. So keep that in mind, and in relationships and in dating, and realize that it does exist. All right, guys, so a lot to think about. This was a very long video for me, and usually not a topic that I work on. Usually I'm like, when I was meditating, I was thinking about being a good person. And don't get me wrong, I love the positive content, and I'm going to give you more of that.